Facebook.
I always feel like we have like a special connection when the speaker's virtual with us. You're in our room.
All right, I think we're ready to get started, Tracy.
Okay, good morning. Welcome, everyone. So glad to have all of you in person and virtual as well. My name is Tracy Irby, and I'm the director at the Center for Women Entrepreneurs. With us, you have met Dawn-Lisa Stinyard already. She's our associate director. Online, we have Kimberly Nielsen. She is our statewide program manager. We have Christina Mortel on. She is our small business advisor. And you met Barbara out at the front desk. She is our program coordinator. So that's our whole team. For those of you who are here the first time, we are part of the larger Jane Nelson Institute for Women's Leadership at Texas Women's. We're dedicated to preparing more women to take on successful roles in business and public service. The three specialized centers, Center for Student Leadership, Center for Women Entrepreneurs, and Center for Women in Government, ensure women have the education to establish careers as successful executives, skills for building entrepreneurial businesses, and the framework needed to run for public office. So our center was funded actually in 2015 by the state legislature just to help promote women entrepreneurs anywhere in the state of Texas. You don't have to be affiliated with the university system to take advantage of all the programs that we offer. So welcome all of you. We like to know who's here as well, and so do the people online. So all of you online, you can put your name and business in the chat. And all of you in the room, we're going to go around. You can introduce yourself. Sorry, Tracy, you caught my eye. You're probably first, but to introduce yourself and your business. So that'd be great. Tracy, you want to start?
Tracy Long. I am at Worthington Bank. I've been in banking in Denton for going on 13 years, and I'm from Denton as well.
Great.
I'm Janita Spikes, the owner of Painted and Polished. I specialize in therapeutic foot care for those with autoimmune health challenges. I am located in Plano, Texas.
Great.
My name is Valerie Gurka, and I have a company called Tech Figures, and we do software development, and we specialize in legacy systems, trying to modernize them. And I'm located in Fort Worth, but I have property in Denton, so I'm here all the time. I love Denton.
Hi, I'm Gina Vanacore. I'm the owner of the Mosaic Leadership Group, which is a company that specializes in organizational leadership development for corporate higher education and nonprofit.
Good morning. I'm Connie Ligas. I am the owner of Yellow Rose Paint Party, which is a mobile paint party business here in Denton, but I travel everywhere, hence the name mobile. I am also an alumni of the Accelerate Her program. So if any of y'all have applied, good luck.
Good morning. I'm Heather Walker. I own Bright Smiles by Heather. Hey. How you doing? It's a teeth whitening studio located right here on the Denton Square.
Good morning, I'm Mark Strassi. I'm a business coach. I love working with small business owners who are passionate about what they do, but maybe not so much the business side.
Hi, I'm Kristen. I'm a physical therapist and owner of Movology Physical Therapy and Wellness. I do concierge mobile physical therapy through Denton and Colorado.
My name is Marge Atkinson. Ask Marge, the research sage. I'm a market researcher, fact checker, and an academic success coach for graduate students. If you still haven't found what you're looking for, ask more.
I'm Laura Prentice. My business is Belden Woman Care. And I'm a women's health educator, women's circle leader, women's festival leader. And I'm right now looking to sell some online courses. And I'm in Carrollton.
Hi, my name is Catherine Allen. I am the founder and executive director of the Singing Pink nonprofit. And we build communities for those of mixed abilities and chronic illness. And our current program is the Pinkettes, Palm, and ASL dance team. And we are providing a community where everyone will have language and a common goal that will help them belong regardless of their abilities, and identify as a dancer, not a label. And we're looking for volunteers for our board and our program.
Hi, I'm Ray Gardenas. I'm from Tucson, Arizona. I just moved here. I'm the owner of Black and Blonde, located at the Downtowner Suite. So I specialize in lash extensions.
Good morning. My name is Shalise Connors, and I'm the director of the Student Money Management Center here at TWU, here to support our colleagues in the Center for Women Entrepreneurs, and also your speaker today, Rashida Thomas, is a friend of mine. We provide financial education services, programming, and one-to-one financial counseling to all the students and alums at TWU.
My name is Rashida Thomas. I own a company called Founders Path. We build online courses and communities. I'm here representing my client Summit. We built this program. It's launching at the end of the month. They have a goal to help diverse companies cross 5 million in revenue. And I love it. Great class, Morning,
my name is Jessica. I'm from the College of Business. I'm a staff. I work as an academic advisor for the graduate program, and I'm here to learn and also just support colleagues and coworkers.
Hi there, my name is Jen. I'm from CASA of Denton County, court-appointed special advocates assisting children who are going through foster care system. We're always looking for new volunteers, and I'd love to talk to you about it. Jen, CASA of Denton County.
Good morning, friends. My name is Macy Alex. I own Macy Alex Photography. I'm a family branding and wedding photographer. I go all over Denton County. I'm actually up for best of Denton County in 3 categories. So if you haven't voted, please go vote. It's really great PR for everybody. I'm also the vice chair for Flag Mountain Women in Business. If you're looking for another networking group, we need the first and third page. And I've got a couple of people you can do if you're working. Macy Alex with Macy Alex Photography.
Hi, I'm Jessica DeLeon, and I just launched my website, Solarlist. It's a website for single women, and we provide resources for them to conquer their projects.
Okay, well, we have.
Sorry, I'm Susan Whitmer. I'm a yoga teacher and I'm a yoga entrepreneur in training.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. I'm Courtney Flowers. I am a brand new entrepreneur as of May. I just launched my clothing brand. I'm to get my certification right now as a Christian life coach. So we have some.
Great. Thank you. So it's so nice to have everyone here. It's always fun to see everybody and what kind of businesses they have. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Our speaker today is Rashida Thomas. She is a finance and technology leader with experience in workforce and digital transformation in Fortune 100 companies. Rashida uses a magnetic form of storytelling to educate and evoke transformation through transparency. Rashida earned an MA in Management and Leadership from Webster University and an MBA from Lindenwood University. Early in her career, she served as an IT Auditor before taking on an Adjunct Professor role and moving into technology leadership roles at GM Financial. Rashida runs her company, FinRose, from Los Angeles and serves as a GRC and IT project management consultant. She is currently enrolled in the Chopra Meditation Certification program. Rashida, thank you so much for joining us. And she's in California, so it's early. So
It is definitely early. Thank you so much for the introduction. I deeply appreciate you all for being here and this opportunity. I also want to say hi to Shalise. Shalise is the reason why I am here today speaking with you all. I had the privilege of coming back to Texas in March to speak to the students at TWU with the Money Management Center, and was able to be blessed to meet Dr. Donlisa Stenier. So Donlisa, thank you so much for opening up this pathway to be able to speak to the women entrepreneurs that are online and in this room today. So thank you. Thank y'all so much for this opportunity. Thank you for being here today. And what really called me to want to be able to speak to you all this morning is when I was living in Dallas, because it hasn't been that long. It's been 2 years me living out here in California. And gosh, I wish I would have known about this community when I took a leap of faith and I shifted from my role at GM Financial to really step into my purpose of being a financial therapist within my business at FinRose. And I wish I would have known about this community. So please, y'all, utilize all the resources, connect. This is good soil. This is good ground for you to connect and really be able to build your business, because community, especially us women, is just so important. And so I just really wanted to reiterate that to you all. So I know we got people in the room and online. This is something that I like to do just to allow us to ground. Is we just gonna take some deep breaths together, because I know throughout our days, we have no idea how much we just be holding our breath. So I just collectively, and if it's safe, because I know some of you all might be commuting to your work and whatnot. So if you're commuting, if you're driving, you're not able to close your eyes, that's okay. You can still take the deep breaths together. But if you are able to close your eyes, so just if it feels good for you, just lower your eyes and let's just take some deep breaths together so we can really start off our day. All right, so let's take the first deep breath for 1, 2, 3, and then release for 3, 2, 1. Take another deep breath for 1, 2, 3. And then release for 3, 2, 1. Then for another deep breath, biggest deep breath that you're taking thus far, all belly out for 1, 2, 3. And then release for 3, 2, 1. And when you're ready, meet me back here with your eyes. Okay. All right, so let's get this started. Let me go ahead and pull up my presentation so we can talk about our financial narratives, uncovering them. All right. So with this workshop, it's going to be a little bit of interaction as well. You're not just going to sit here and listen to me talk. I would love for you all and the activities that we'll be doing today to really uncover the roots of your financial beliefs and behaviors. Just to talk back to me, give me some feedback and whatnot, and what's coming up for you. And in this workshop, we'll be discovering the origins of your money mindset, gaining insights into your financial beliefs and behaviors, and then just really learning how to shape a positive and more informed money narrative. That personal relationship that you have with money is so important as a business owner, because it's going to show up within your business. The beliefs that you have around money, it's definitely going to show up within your business and whatnot, and your business dealings. So that's why it's so important to really understand, like, what are your thoughts and beliefs around money? Where did that come from? And whatnot, and just to see, like, how can I work to shift it if it's not so much a good relationship with money necessarily, and so that you can be able to really thrive within your business. So I want to tell you that your narrative in regards to your finances, it didn't start with you. It didn't start with you. And throughout the course of this presentation, I want to walk you through and explain to you how it didn't start with you so that you can have a better understanding of, okay, are these some things that I want to keep? Or are these some of the things that I want to release within my financial narrative that have been developed? And then so that you can build a more positive relationship with money. So as an icebreaker, I just wanted to start off, and you all can come off on mute and tell me, or just put it simply in the chat. And Dr. Donlisa, if you're open, if you could read some of the things that are coming through the chat, that would be amazing. But like, what is a common phrase that you heard growing up when it came to money? Common phrase that you heard growing up when it came to money.
We don't have any.
Okay. Listen, that's real. We didn't have.
We have a great one here that says we don't have McDonald's money.
Yep. We don't have McDonald's money. Yep.
My daughter's on the call.
I love it.
Money doesn't grow on trees.
Money doesn't grow on trees. Okay. Any more?
We've got one in person.
Regarding investing, I've always been told you have to have money you can afford to lose.
You have to have money you can afford to lose.
That's good. That's good. Any more in regards to phrases that you heard growing up when it came to money?
Yeah,
That's too expensive. We can't afford it.
yeah, you should
Money
only
does-
buy what you need, not what you want.
Save money for a rainy day.
That's good. Okay. So let's hold that. So I want to say how, and this is something that you could take away with the common phrase that you heard in regards to money. How is that showing up for you right now and your experience with money? And is that something that you still believe? Or is that something, and also, is that something that you want to keep? Or is that something that you want to release? Because a lot of times our relationship, that's why I said it didn't start with you. We start hearing these sayings and these phrases and whatnot when it comes to money. And throughout the years of when we're growing up, we don't have the ability within our brains because they're still developing through our teen years and whatnot fully. And we don't have the ability to really filter that out and being like, no, I don't receive that necessarily. So oftentimes these common phrases that you consistently hear, the things that you see around you when you're growing up in regards to money, can become embedded with you and start to assist with your experience with money as an adult. So that's why I really wanted to emphasize, like, this whole narrative around money, it did not start with you. And so when I was doing my training certification as a certified financial education instructor, something that really stuck with me on how money narratives are formed, a little bit with the icebreaker, we talked about it was our environment, our socioeconomic background, generational influence, role models and friends. A big time for me was trial and error in my own relationship with money and whatnot. And just the advertising and the messaging. Now we have social media and whatnot, with our advertising and messaging. So it looks a lot different for us. So I just want you all to give yourself grace because, again, it didn't start with you. And we have so many influences around us that can shape our money narratives and whatnot, and understanding like it did not start with you at all. And so we all are women. And I really wanted to bring a bit of emphasis on the generational aspect as well. Put it in the chat or tell me if you were told just to go to school and get a good job.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we were told to go to school, get a good job. And oftentimes our self-worth can be so much tied to our success. It can be tied to us, to what we can do. And oftentimes, and this is something that I experience, but it can lead to the chronic stress. It can negatively impact your mental and physical health. And just, it can also impact your money as well, because you're tying so much of your worth as to what you can do. And oftentimes we don't even know how to be. When I transitioned out of corporate, and it was a huge transition for me, and because the day I transitioned out of corporate was the exact same day that I got on the plane to move to Los Angeles, the exact same day. And it was a lot for me, and I needed to pause, but I couldn't understand how to be, because a lot of my identity and my worth was tied into corporate and what it is that Rashida can do. I didn't understand how can Rashida just simply be. And it took time for me to be able to be, because I had the understanding of, I was told to go to school and get a good job. And a lot of my self-worth and identity was wrapped around that. And oftentimes that can influence the financial narratives that we have into play. So it'll inhibit us from being open to receiving, because we feel like we have to do to be able to receive money. We simply can't just be. We feel like we have to do something to receive money, and money can't just simply just find us. Opportunities can't simply just find us for just being in the room. And so I really wanted to emphasize that, because this is something that played heavy in my life. And I'm glad to hear that some of us in this room and online have heard this too. And I just want to let you know that you're not alone, and understanding where this narrative comes from and how it shows up within your money as well. And this is something big for me. Women, we're natural nurturers. We're natural nurturers, and we're givers. So it makes it so hard for us to be able to receive. To really elevate your business and really start thriving in your business, you have to be open to receive. You have to be in a posture to open to receive, and not being open to receive can contribute to, financial stress and whatnot. And it can maybe potentially cut you off from opportunities that are being made available to you and are in your perimeter that you don't even have awareness of, because you're not open to receiving. And open to receiving is something very personal to me, because I didn't learn how to be open to receiving until I didn't have a choice. When I was in a serious car accident in June of 2021, and I was out of work for 9 months, I didn't have a choice. I had to learn how to be open to receiving help. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help, especially as a business owner, because it can't just be you all the time and your higher power, whomever you talk to and whatnot and have a relationship with. Like, it can't just y'all to be in the room all the time. Like, you have to be open to receiving as well. So yeah, I really wanted to make that point. So you all will receive a copy of this in the follow-up email. And we talked about like the influences and whatnot within your current financial narrative. But I really want you to take some time, probably about 7 minutes or so. And I want to get an understanding of like, who is your money mentor? So in this exercise, we'll identify individuals who have influenced your financial perspective. And then who is in your life is influencing your thoughts and feelings around money when you were growing up and currently. Like, this could be a parent, a friend, a teacher, a financial advisor, or a public figure. But really, who is influencing your thoughts and feelings around money when you were growing up and right now? So I want us to just pause and take like 7 minutes to reflect on that and just write it out. And again, you will receive a formal copy of the actual worksheet that will walk you through this exercise. So if you have a pen and paper, go ahead and do that exercise right now. And I'll pause. It's 8:24 right now, so I'll give you guys about a good 6 or 7 minutes to reflect on that.
Need a notebook.
Anyone else?
Nice.
Anyone else? Up here. Oh, sorry. Anyone?
We'll give it about 3 more minutes or so to allow you to be able to complete your thought. And again, I will be sending out a worksheet to you all. You'll be getting that with the replay to fully walk through this exercise as well.
Okay.
Okay, how we coming along? Did we need a few more minutes?
I think we're good in here, Rashida.
Okay, online, anybody need a few more minutes? We good?
I'm good.
Okay.
I don't see any requests for more, Rashida. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Is anybody, I'll start first. And then to make it comfortable, if anybody would like to share. So I'll start with the past of who really influenced some of my thoughts around money. Something that I learned from and I'll be honest, like there were some positive things and there were some negative things and that I learned around money. But here's the thing, even as a financial therapist, like I'm not exempt to the work and continuing to work to establish a healthier relationship with money and recognizing, when things come up for me, like thoughts and feelings, I'm like, is this my stuff or is this somebody else's stuff? And also investigating, okay, so where did this come from? When is the first time that I really had this thought or belief and whatnot? So growing up, something that I saw my parents do is they had a yellow memo pad, and this is going to date me, but they also had a checkbook register as well. So I will literally watch them do their budget. That is something positive that I learned from my parents growing up. And being able to see that is what allowed me to author a Faith Plus Finances budgeting journal and whatnot. So that influenced some of my money narrative, but also not necessarily having a healthy relationship with credit cards and sometimes utilizing credit cards as income. Unfortunately, I realized within my own financial journey, that's where that came from, witnessing that growing up. And I'd be like, okay, this is not my stuff. I release it. So how can I work to be able to break this cycle? Because this is something that I don't desire to continue to hold on to and continue to practice after I recognize where it came from. And I'll also be honest, as a business owner, I pay attention to how people are supported and just how the opportunities are flowing into them and how it's aligned and whatnot, and how they are open to receiving money in different ways. As a business owner, oftentimes I tell myself is I'm open to money finding me in new ways. I'm open to money finding me in new ways. In this time and these days that we're in, we have to be open to money finding us in new ways. And I see that through like your Issa Rae's, your Tabitha Browns and whatnot. And I really love watching and seeing how money is finding them in new ways. So I wanted to share that. Is anybody open to sharing, from this exercise, what came up for them, whether it be in the room or online?
We do have one in the room, Rashida.
Awesome.
I have a very similar upbringing to you. My parents were divorced. My mom was great with her money, but my father wasn't. And he always would say, it's just money, we can make more. So I had significant, by the time I was 23, I had about $20,000 in credit card debt because of that relationship with money. So able to pay that off, thank God. Because of my husband, who has incredible money knowledge, helped me work out a budget and work and pay that off myself. So there was a lot of pride when I now have control of my finances. But the breaking of that money mindset was terrible. It was a long, very tearful lesson.
Thank you for sharing that. It was a lesson, but it was also a journey.
Yes.
Our relationship with money and finances it's not a destination, y'all. It is a journey, and we have to give ourselves grace. So kudos to you for being able to recognize, okay, this is where this specifically came from. It is no longer serving me. and I'm going to work to be able to establish a healthier relationship and be able to pay off that credit card debt. That is beautiful. And thank you so much for sharing that.
Kimberly, do we have anybody online that wants to share? We had one over here. Online, we want to do online. Okay. If not, we've got one in the room.
I feel like there's probably someone online. Does anyone? Oh, wait. So Liv.
Hey y'all.
Hello.
So I was about to type this, but this is probably easier to explain. So I actually just realized like in a couple of months ago that my money story, and shout out to therapy, it actually stems all the way back to my grandmother who grew up in the Great Depression. And so my grandmother raised my mom and my siblings to be very resourceful, very anything can happen at any moment. And so it was resourcefulness, but it was also out of a scarcity mindset, like the shoe could always drop. And so my mom, when she, raised us, I remember us having money. I remember my mom working hard. She worked the same job for over 35 years. She had a pension. My mom worked really, really hard. We always had what we needed, but she never spent money frivolously. And so fast forward to now, so I definitely identify what you said about generational. So I went to school, I got a corporate job, I worked hard, I tried to follow those footsteps. But then when I transitioned to entrepreneurship, to this day, my mom cannot understand why I would leave a perfectly good job to take a risk. And the money I have invested in my business, while she supports me, like my mom fundamentally, supports me, but the money specifically, she just can't understand.
Liv.
And so, yeah, that's my money story.
Thank you.
And
so
then,
much.
and just one other thing, a reason why I said therapy is great. So because I've always had money, and one of my money statements was always pay yourself first. I've always had savings.
Yep.
One of the things I've had to unlearn and relearn in this season is money comes differently as an entrepreneur. And I've had to be okay with my bank account fluctuating, which that was a whole journey in itself. But yes, the money mindset story stems all the way back to my grandmother.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's another thing. This stuff is, again, it did not start with us, and it is generational. And learning, like, what did it look like for our grandparents, like continuing through the lineage, like what did it look like, and how was this showing, and recognizing how was this showing up for me. And Liv, I resonate with you so deeply, because my parents was like, girl, why are you leaving a 6-figure job to do this full time? And because background, my parents, my dad, he was in the military. My mom, she worked for, both of them ended up working for the government as well. And they were like, what are you doing? And still to this day, they'd be like, girl, we don't understand it, but okay. And so I even had to set a boundary, like, this is my passion. This is my life's work that I'm doing. It brings me joy. I'm working to be able to support myself. And Liv, to your point, I do understand that things can fluctuate financially as an entrepreneur, and having an understanding of what is my financial threshold. Like, what is the place where my bank account can get to where I start having that anxiety and whatnot, and what are some things in place so that we work to not necessarily get to that place. But it's the boundaries with I had to establish with my parents around my finances and my entrepreneur journey, and understanding that in my entrepreneur journey, my parents may not necessarily be a place of grounding. So as an entrepreneur, and as you are in community and whatnot, find a place as an entrepreneur where you can be able to ground and have your safe space. And sometimes it may not come from your family. And I just want to reassure you that that's okay, and that that's normal. So thank y'all so much for sharing that. I wanted to go back to, I saw a comment in the chat that I really wanted to talk about, and it goes again around these narratives. Donna, are you open to me sharing your comment? I want to ask.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. So Donna, when you said I was told to get a husband that would support me, I was to be a wife and a mother, go to college in case something happens to him. I was not encouraged to work, make money, or understand money. And I wanted to point this out because there can be unseen narratives that are being placed upon us. Let me give you an example. I was at home and my parents, they live in Louisiana now. I'm originally from St. Louis. So I saw one of my childhood friends, Alexandria, she's on the call today. I'm not sure if she's still on, but it was beautiful to see her. But I'm from St. Louis. My parents, they moved back down to close to my mom's hometown of Alexandria, Louisiana, but they're in Shreveport. And I was home visiting them in March matter of fact, after I spoke at TWU, the Denton location, the Denton campus. And I was walking with my mother and she basically talked about how I'm worried about you. Mind you, I'm single, to be very transparent. It's just me. I don't currently have any children, but that's definitely something that I desire. And she was just like, I'm worried about you. And I was like, well, what do you mean? Tell me more. And she was like, I'm worried about you. I said, okay, tell me more. And she was basically like, I'm worried about you because you're single and you're doing this by yourself. And I said, okay. So I said, are you equating me being single to me not being able to financially support myself and be stable? And she was like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. But I had to give my mom grace because I had to think back when she was growing up before she met my dad, some of the resources that I have now access to with ease, she did not have access to. Like being able to have her own bank account, being able to buy her own house, being able to have access to specific credit products and whatnot. It was a big thing for her to be able to have a checking account. So I had to understand that narrative that my mom was carrying because it was from a societal and systematic approach, and how that narrative, she was trying to impose that on me subconsciously and didn't even know. So that's why I say a lot of times this stuff does not start with us. And we have to give ourselves grace and recognize, okay, what is it that I want to keep? And what is it that I want to release because it's not mine? So I really wanted to point that out. And Donna, thank you so much for putting those comments in the questions. Thank y'all so much for that. Okay. So yeah, so we just got to recognize these influences that can help identify limiting beliefs around money, understanding the influences that can empower us to make more informed financial choices and decisions going forward. So I want to talk about the journey back to oneself, because again, we talked about our money narratives. They did not necessarily start with you, and releasing what it is that releasing the things that you don't want to keep, and then what is it that's still serving me right now that I want to keep. So the journey back to oneself, like this is how I want my money narrative be. Because your narrative right now, if it doesn't feel good with you, you have the power to change that today. By you just being in the room today and being in this like-minded type of community and immersing yourself in this type of energy, this is the breeding ground for you being able to change your financial narrative today. So I want you just to reflect on some of these questions that you can take with you. You can take a screenshot or just write some of these down, but really say like, what is my desired abundant lifestyle? Like, what does it look like for you? And I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about your partner or anything like that, or what does it look like for you? Because you have been given so many narratives and so many things, but what does it look like for you truly? Truly. And what financial narrative that came up today during this session that you're like, okay, I would like to keep this. And if there's a narrative that came up for you that you would like to release, saying, I just would like to release it. Something that I tell my one-on-one clients is, as we're going through a session and a narrative or a belief may come up, I'd be like, okay, do you want to keep it or do you want to release it? And they'd be like, I want to release it. I said, okay, who did this come from? And I release it and I send it back with love. It ain't mine no more. And it's developing an attitude of gratitude. I have a big gratitude practice. And as you acknowledge what is coming in, more will be sent to you. as you acknowledge what is coming in, more will be sent over to you. There has to be a recognition of things, the positive things that are coming in, to be able to allow you to open yourself up to receive more. And then a big part of this narrative is, and we talked about this because we're women and we're nurturers, but how are you showing up for yourself? How are you showing up for yourself? And especially before we start our days, how are you showing up for yourself before you give yourself to the world? And then how is your community around you supporting your financial goals? But I also add your entrepreneur goals as well. Like, do you have good community around you? And again, it can start with this room, this forum right now, to be able to support your financial and entrepreneur goals. And it can just be one that you all have before the end of the year. Just one. Just one. Because community is so important. So I'll just pause real quick to allow you all to like take a screenshot of this or write them down before we get into some Q&A.
We've got about 10 minutes, Rashida.
Okay, perfect. All right.
And I took a screenshot, so, and I'll send it out with the replay as well. So I got your back.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So before we get into QA, if you didn't learn anything else today, I just want you to know that this money narrative that you're carrying, it didn't start with you, but you have the power and the support to change that narrative today. And it starts with being open to receiving. If you need to practice in the mirror saying, I am open to receive, I am open to receive, I am open to receive every morning, to really get that down to a cellular level, then do it, because it really starts with changing the narrative. You have to be able to be open to receiving. So with that, I wanted to pause and open up the floor for some good questions.
Now, Rashida, do you want to go ahead and put up your contact information, and then we'll pull down we'll stop sharing your slide and so that they can see the virtual audience as well.
Oh, okay. So I was just going to send it over to you, Don Lisa, to send it out via email to make it more easeful for everybody. Because I didn't know how we were going to be tracking on time and whatnot. Is that okay?
That's perfect. I can do that.
Okay. And let me stop sharing. Okay.
Kimberly, do we have any questions in the chat?
I don't have any in the chat, but since we have gone off mic a few times, I don't want to pass anyone up. Does anyone have a question for Rashida?
I see a hand up.
Oh, wonderful.
Hi, Rashida. Thank you so much for the time. My name is Corporeal, and I had a question about how to break the cycle of the narratives that we are in, because some of the stories that people have shared so vulnerably, the narratives that they shared were very, in my opinion, understandable. They're practical. It's a way that people have learned how to survive. And so how does someone get out of that if logically it does seem to work well for them, but how do they see something different, if that makes any sense?
No, thank you for the question. Corporeal, am I saying that correctly?
That's correct.
So is there a desire to want to get out the narrative? It starts with a desire. Do I want to shift this narrative? If you don't want to shift this narrative, then they're going to continue to cycle within that narrative if there's no desire to shift it. So it starts with, do I even have the desire to shift it? And then recognizing, okay, what is this narrative that is playing? And then also oftentimes like really figuring that out is, what is the actual narrative that's playing? And then from there, did this start with me? Where did this come from? Is this my stuff or is this somebody else's stuff? And then as this narrative continues to play, it's doing one different decision that goes against the pattern. It can always just be one different decision that goes against that specific pattern. When you're seeing that narrative playing out and whatnot, or that pattern playing out, it's one different decision that goes against the pattern. So, but it's the awareness of like, do I want to change this to begin with? Am I okay with this cycling, how it's cycling? And if there's no desire to change, then it's just going to continue as is. And then recognizing what is the narrative? Where did it come from? Is this my stuff or is it somebody else's stuff? Are you willing to release that? And then when it comes up is making one different decision that goes against it so that we can start to cycle out of it. And I actually have a worksheet that I can attach. Lisa, I'll send that to you as well to go do a deeper dive into that, that I can send over to everybody to have, because I know we're limited on time. But I hope, was this helpful for you? You're welcome.
Do we have a question in the room? No? Chris, I see your hand up.
Howdy, y'all. Rashida, thank you so much for this very insightful offering today. You mentioned, my words, not yours, that sometimes when you go to your next level, not everyone wants to come with you. How did you decide to start your own community from scratch versus join a community or weave them together? And can you possibly give 3 steps that we can take on that journey? Thank you.
Ooh, this is a good question. Okay. Let me, and remind me, you might have to remind me of some of the questions because I know it's a few, and I'm gonna try to take my time with this. Okay, so tell me the first question again.
Yes, ma'am. It is, how did you decide to start a community from scratch versus join a community or weave them together? Thank you.
Okay, so start a community. So when I transitioned out of corporate back in, it was May 27th of 2022. And I was moving to Los Angeles. And a lot of, y'all know the stigma, like Los Angeles is a lot of fake people, blah, blah, blah. And it's hard to build community here. But it's about your intention. First of all, I started with setting the intention that as a full-time entrepreneur, it is my desire to build community that feels nurturing, that feels like a warm glass of tea, a warm cup of tea that is nurturing to my mind, body, and spirit. So it starts with the intention. So it's about your intent. Like, what is it? How do you want to look? How did you want it to feel and whatnot? And as I set that intention and I started, I had probably two friends that lived here in Los Angeles. Now I have a beautiful community of individuals that I have met along the way, but it always started with my intention, and it started with me being open to receiving. Open to receiving is just so universal. It's not just tied to being money and whatnot. I had to be open to receiving a new, different type of community and support. Because a lot of my best friends, to be very honest, they're still in corporate. They they don't necessarily understand my day in and day out entrepreneur journey at all. But I had to be okay with that. And that came with some tears and whatnot. And then saying like, girl, I don't know how to necessarily support you and walk you through what you're experiencing. But they did tell me, hey, I do have an entrepreneur friend in Los Angeles that I would like to connect you with. So I had to be open to my circle looking different with where I'm currently at in life and as being a full-time entrepreneur. Okay, so the intent, the being open to receiving and being very specific about how you want community to look and feel like for you. And then also I had to leave my house because like I'm serious, like I had to leave my house, like we're this post-COVID era, technically, people are still very comfortable with being at home. A lot of the opportunities that I have received is being in rooms similar to the rooms that y'all are in now.
Yeah.
It didn't necessarily come from being online. So, and I'm an introvert, to be very honest. And so, but I had to be like, okay, we're going to this event, but not just going to the event, just saying I'm going to the event, but this is what I desire to come out of this event with. It all starts with intent and being open to attracting the individuals within the community that are aligned with where you currently are in life. So did I answer? I think I did the two. Was there another part of the question?
Thank you for sharing your brilliance, Rashida.
Oh, thank you. Listen, this is through lived experiences. I know the things that I have walked through in my life. I know I'm not the only person experiencing this. And I know that if I'm open to sharing this, I know if I can just help one person, all is well with me. All is well with me.
Have one question in the room and it'll be our last question. Go ahead.
Hi, Rashida. Thank you so much. This was actually right on time because on my to-do list is to write out my personal and financial budgeting goals. I definitely did not start out with a good relationship with money. I started working at 14 because I wanted a pager. I'm dating myself.
Love it.
I wanted a pager and my mom told me if I wanted it, I needed a job. And so I got a job. But at that point and still to this day, I live by, if I want it, I got it, as long as the money's in there, which is not good. My business is very faith-based, and a lot of what you said resonates. And so I also live on that line of trusting, I follow God. So trusting that God will provide. And so and Mark 11:24 is actually my favorite, which basically, if you ask for it, it will be done. So I'm trying to stay on my path of faith, but also understand that my life could, everything could be taken away at any moment. And if I don't have, very intentional and strategic plans for my money, because I do have children also. So how can I walk a line of being smart with my money and stay true to my faith and do all the things that you presented today?
Okay. It would start with, what do you really want your life to look like? Like really being honest about that. And also to the point where, and honing in on, why do you believe that everything can be taken away at any moment? Because there's someone goes along the lines of, you're waiting for the shoe to drop. And so,
cut your thought off. Go ahead.
So reflecting, and I know we're close to time, but like reflecting on that, is that a way that you want to continue to move forward, the energy that you want to reflect in? And then also definitely leaning on your faith. Like leaning on your faith, but also understanding the world around you as well, and how it is that within living in that faith, what is my desired lifestyle would you like to be, and understanding what is the gap in between. And then also to being able to be smart with your money. What does that look like for you? Getting specific. Is it saying, I want to be able to save this amount of money for the money that each month that I'm pulling in? Like, what does smart with your money be about? Because you don't want it to come from a place where you are, you're neglecting yourself. Because oftentimes, so that's being specific about it. Because oftentimes when we're in these spaces of, I got to get my money up, I got to get my money right and whatnot, that we neglect ourselves in the process. So it's also recognizing, okay, what does being smart with money look like specifically for me, and not what somebody else told you? What does it look like for you? How does that feel in your body? Does that feel good within your body? Because it's not just mind, but it's your body as well. So how does this feel for me? And then also making sure that you're not neglecting yourself in the process. So getting very specific about that. And I know we're short on time, but I hope that somewhat answered some of your question.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rashida, for this amazing conversation around money, which I think is very timely, right? We always need to be willing and open to talk about that. So thank you so much. And I will make sure that when those sheets come in, that we get all that information out to you. So just a few things before we wrap up. Just a reminder that when you registered, you get asked if you are willing to share your information with everybody else. So if you say yes, it gets shared out. If you say no, it gets deleted and we don't share it. But just a reminder that is not a list for you to add to your email list. Please do not use those email addresses to reach out to people in a mass way and promote your business and that kind of stuff. If you want to connect with somebody, if there's somebody on that list that you think, man, I would love to bring them in to talk to the ladies at the Flower Mound Women in Business, and I would love to have them come, then by all means, an individual reach out is completely okay. We just ask that because we don't want to stop sending that out, because we want to be able to marry our in-person community with our virtual community, and that's how we can do that. So September is National Preparedness Month. I know nobody likes to talk about this stuff. However, we're the Center for Women Entrepreneurs, and we like to make sure that we are keeping you abreast of things and keeping you situated for your business. So for our September WomenRISE, we have Angela Burton from the U.S. Small Business Administration. She's going to come in and talk about disaster preparedness and SBA resources for small businesses. So one thing that COVID taught us is that you've got to have a plan, right? And so even though we've had a pandemic, we can have another one. There's other things that can happen. So we want to make sure that you're prepared for that. And then to save the date, so just FYI, you are the first to hear about this. Our next and last Saturday workshop for 2024 is September 28th. We have Dr. Tanya Fanar coming in, and she's going to be talking about creating your customer experience. We know how important customer experience is. And then for those of you in the Denton and DFW area, our next Women Entrepreneur Free Headshot and Networking event is scheduled for Thursday, October 10th from 5 to 7. So we will be sending out emails about that here in the very near future, but wanted to give you an opportunity to mark your calendar. So without further ado, we will send you all on your way. Thank you, Rashida, again. Thank you so much. Kimberly, I'm going to hand it over to you, the virtual audience, and we'll close out here. Make sure the host. And I didn't stop us on Facebook. Can you stop us on Facebook? Hold on 1 second.
Rashida, I noticed a question, two things in the chat, people asking you when you send your information to include your favorite books or blogs.
Hey, Kimberly, can you get us off of Facebook?
Sure.
I don't know, can I?
Make a note.
Or give it back to me and let me do it real quick. Sorry.
I can stop. Look at me. I got you. I got you back, Annalisa.
And stop recording.
Well, it's not. I don't know if it's.